Okay, year 4, our reading lesson, we are looking at vocabulary, inference and explain this week. So we are looking at the first page of our Minotaur poem, and if you want to pause the video and reread it to remind you what happens in the poem, then please do so now. Okay, so today we're looking at what words are important in these questions and which words tell us what we need to do. So we're having find and copy, how do, give evidence from the text to support your answer, and explain how. So in find and copy, it is important that we copy the words. So we are not changing them into our own words or interpreting them. We are literally copying from the text. Okay, our second question, we need to give evidence from the text. Okay, so this is vital. We can answer it correctly, but we won't get the mark unless we are giving evidence. And finally, explain how. Explain means that you need to go into detail. You are not retrieving something. You need to explain why you think that or how something has happened. Okay, so find and copy a phrase which tells us that the Minotaurs and Athenians are foes. Okay, so it's important that I find and copy, and I'm looking for a phrase, okay, which tells that the Minotaur and the Athenians are foes. So thinking about the synonyms for foes, I'm going to look back to my text, and I'm skim reading. Okay, so I think the word enemies is similar to foe. The Athenians are our fierce enemies. So I'm finding and copying the phrase. The Athenians are our fierce enemies. Oh dear, I can't spell today. Okay. How do the Minotaur's victims feel when they meet him? Give evidence from the text to support your answer. Okay, so again, looking for my key information. How do the Minotaur's victims feel? Give evidence from the text. So let's go and have a look. And this is when they meet him. So I'm skim reading to where he meets his enemies. Okay, so it's every 9 years to be precise. 7 boys, 7 girls, just a roll of the dice. I nervously wait to hear if they're selected, then enter my maze and look so dejected. So I know that dejected means disappointed. They feel like they are beaten already. Okay, they've given up. So I think the victims feel beaten. So I'm going to put the victims feel beaten because it says they feel so dejected. Okay then. And finally, explain how the Minotaur's victims are chosen. So I'm explaining how the victims are chosen. Okay, so skim reading again. It's every 9 years to be precise, 7 boys, 7 girls, just a roll of the dice. Right then, so I know from reading the text then that the Minotaur's victims are chosen by a roll of a dice. Okay, so moving on to our guided questions. Find and copy a word which tells us that the Minotaur is keen to meet his prey. So find and copy a phrase which tells the Minotaur is keen to meet his prey. Okay, so here is your key vocab in your question. So you need to go and find and copy a phrase. So go back to the text. Look for the part where he's talking about meeting his prey. Okay, and it's around here, so hopefully you found that. I've waited so long to hear that noisy Athenian boat full of girls and boys. So which section tells us that he's keen to meet his prey? Hopefully you have realised it's I've waited so long to hear that noise. So, I've waited so long to hear that noise is the phrase that we need. How do the children feel when they are waiting to find out if they've been chosen? Find evidence from the text to support your answer. So, how do the children feel when they are waiting to find out if they've been chosen? And we need evidence. Okay, so let's go back and check the bit where they are waiting to be chosen, which is here. Okay, hopefully you've picked up the word nervously. So let's go back to our guided. The children feel anxious because it uses the word nervously to describe how they are waiting. Okay. Finally, explain why the people of Athens struck an agreement with King Minos. So we are explaining, okay, why there's an agreement. So let's go and have a look. Okay, so I found a synonym for agreement. I found deal. For peace, they made a deal one day. If they simply feed me, Minos will stay away. Okay, so they've done it for peace, haven't they? So as a sentence, we could write, the Athenians struck a deal so they had peace and King Minos did not try to invade them. Okay, so you are now moving on to your independent questions. So you can do these independently and then send them to your teacher when you are finished.